Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of Check Out My Custom Master Grade Gouf 2.0, and I'm crazy excited to go over this one because the Gouf is one of my all-time favorite mobile suits. I freaking love this design. They crushed it right out of the gate. The first series ever, and they got just so many good designs right, and this is definitely my favorite. Really disappointed that it didn't kind of go farther. I know they had the Gouf custom, but man, there's so much potential for this guy. I really wish he would have been more of a standout in that series. I know Rumble Raw was like the cool pilot for him, and that was awesome. That was an awesome little saga for him, but man, I wanted to see it keep going. I wish Rumble Raw would have been like a much longer lasting character. Why couldn't they keep him around like Char? I think Rumble Raw could have lasted the entire series, or at least 3/4 of the series being a problem for Amuro. Then we could have maybe killed him off in a cool way, but oh well, you take what you get. And it's not like Sunrise knew that he was going to be an all-star character all these years later, so that's just how it goes. But anyways, let's just get down to the kit. So this guy is awesome. It's another 2.0 kit, and 2.0s are typically pretty awesome. I really don't have complaints about the 2.0s. They all do a really great job of looking really cool from the show, but also having a much more realistic proportions and designs. It's a good matchup, so I'm a big fan of anything that has 2.0 in the name for the most part. So this was actually my second airbrush build that I'd ever done. I was still trying to figure everything out, and I just was hoping for the best. And I think I might have actually done a custom blue for this. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the blue on this, at least the lighter blue, was just a couple of mixtures of different blues. I don't think I had a blue that I really liked, so I just tried to mix something up. I could be wrong, but I think that was the case. This might be a custom color. So what I did was I just pre-shaded everything just around the ridges because that was what I was doing back then. That's what I had thought you were supposed to do. That's what I'd heard, and I thought that was the best way to go about it. So with just the edging, I pre-shaded everything in, I believe, bright blue, and then went over it all again with the custom blue that I made, and it's like 90% good. I think it came out pretty well, but I think I could have used a couple more coats. I don't think I went hard enough, because one thing I remember learning at the time was when you paint something, when it's a fresh, wet coat of paint, when you paint it on, it's gonna look one way, and when it dries, it's gonna look slightly different. And what I mean by different, I don't mean the color's gonna necessarily change. I mean the texture and the blending with the other paints below it are gonna shift a bit. They're gonna blend a little bit better when it's dried out. Because this is a ground type mobile suit, and it's doing a lot of hand-to-hand combat on the ground and everything, I think the shading's fine with that, because it kind of gives it a more beat-up kind of look, which you would expect from a design like this, especially with like the Gouf, where it's just a bulky warrior, just gladiatorial warrior. You can tell that this guy just lives to fight, and I just freaking love it. And then in terms of the dark blue, I think what I did for that, I probably used like a navy blue for the pre-shading, and then I probably used the bright blue that I used for the pre-shading on the light blue. I probably did that as the main coat for this dark blue, and that came out perfect. That I'm happy with. I have zero complaints. In terms of the dark gray blackish color for the other outer armor parts, I did that basically like I did with my Char's custom red Zaku. So I just did black pre-shading on the parts, and then from there I mixed up a custom just dark gray color with just various grays and dark grays, mixed them into a bottle, and then just sprayed it on with a typical pre-shading style. And I think it looks great. I think the gray comes off as gray. It doesn't quite look black. It doesn't look like a light gray. It's got a really nice in-between dark gray, and I'm really happy about that. It helps accent these brighter blues really nicely, and especially when I have it on the shelf next to Char's red Zaku, oh my goodness, these guys look so great together. For the inner frame, I think I just used the standard Mr. Color Gundam inner frame color. It's just like a grayish color. It's not my preferred paint for inner frames or metallics or anything like that. Again, this was, I believe, the second kit I'd ever airbrushed, so there was definitely some things I needed to figure out, and it looks okay. I think I had top coated it. I think I top coated it with just a flat coat on everything, and it works for this one, but moving forward, I stopped top coating my inner frames. I like them just to be as shiny as possible. The eye I was actually really happy about, the mono eye. So that one I did a gray primer, as always, and then I just put a fluorescent pink on it. And there you go, looks great. Because fluorescent colors are already pretty bright as they are, they've got a neon vibe to them, you kind of don't really need to do anything. They already look like they're alive and active. Obviously, I could have done a tiny bit of a lighter fluorescent pink. I could have added some white to it just to make it pop a little bit more, but I don't always feel that's necessary on these super tiny parts. The mono eye is just super small. So the heat saber was what I really wanted to stand out. I knew I wanted to do fluorescence. I knew I wanted it to shine and glow and all that, and I was was pleasantly surprised with how it came out. I don't think it's all that great in the grand scheme of things, but for my first attempt ever, I was pretty happy. So what I did was primed it in gray. I put fluorescent yellow on top of that. I did a first layer of fluorescent yellow, and I was concerned because this was the first time I'd used fluorescent yellow, and it looked very much like a highlighter color. I thought it was just going to be a very bright, vibrant yellow. I wasn't expecting it to be such a lime green, like 7-Up color. So I was concerned. I was like, oh, no, that's not what I thought was going to happen. And then I got the fluorescent orange. It's still good enough. I mean, it's supposed to be a glowing hot weapon, and when it comes to like heat and all that, it's not always consistent. The vibrant orange looks great against this light blue, this kind of like sky blue. I'm just overall very happy with it. At the end of the day, the heat saber is where it shines. I freaking love this heat saber. I'm gonna be honest, as much as I love the Gouf, I might actually sell this off just because I want another chance at it. I'm very happy with how this looks. I think it came out pretty great. I love this design so much. I really would love to do it again with my current style. So in terms of the detailing, it's nothing crazy. I just did basic panel lining. I didn't really know much about hand painting or metallics or anything like that. I was still figuring everything out. So I just figured, all right, panel lining, that's the way you do it. And I just did that. It looks good. No complaints there. It's nothing fancy. It's just all kind of just subtle, and they're very basic and everything. So I don't feel the need to really make them crazy. It's more so if I want to just like make them stand out. And with this guy, I'm just pretty happy with the results overall, so can't complain. Another little touch that I was very happy with was that left hand, the like Gatling gun hand. I think that's awesome. I'm a big fan of asymmetry, and this hand looks awesome. Anytime you've got a robot where the fingertips like open up and it turns into guns, I'm a huge fan. Love that. I'm all about that. So that's part of the reason why the Gouf is one of my favorites. I just love the asymmetry between the hands and the heat rod and the gun. The shield is cool, the spikes, everything. So I tried painting the Rambo Raw figure and the wife, I don't remember her name, that came with it. They look awful. I mean, that was my first time trying stuff like that too, and I don't even know if I have them anymore, so I'm pretty sure they're not in this video. But I don't know, I might get back into that stuff. I just don't know if I feel the need to paint these little figurines. They're cool and all that, but again, that's more of like a diorama thing, and I'm not quite there yet, so we'll see. So they molded in the barrels for the fingertips on the insides, so I really wanted to make sure that stood out. So I just took my paintbrush and using lacquer paint, which I definitely don't want to ever do again. This was an early one, I was figuring stuff out, but I used lacquer paint to hand paint the details on the inside of the fingers, and they were like 99% good. And then I had one little slip, not a big deal, it's on the inside, you can't tell, who cares. The problem is I couldn't fix it because I had used lacquer paint on top of lacquer paint, so if I use thinner to fix it, it's going to ruin the whole thing. That's why moving forward, you got to use enamel paint for this stuff, so that way if you got to fix anything, the enamel thinner won't horribly ruin your lacquer paint. But overall, I'm really happy with how the hand came out. It looks so cool. I love having his arm just up, ready to go, just firing away. Like I said, fingertip guns, I'm a big fan of. So overall, I think the paint job on this guy is pretty basic, but I'm very happy with it. I really just wanted to make sure that the sword and the blue came out good. They did, and I was happy with that. In terms of all the extra detailing and everything, I didn't expect much from it just because this is a pretty simple design, and I'm happy with the results. Hopefully, one day we will get that Gouf Custom 2.0 that I've always dreamed of. Fingers crossed, but you never know. But anyways, guys, I think that's all to be said about this guy. He came out pretty awesome. I love having him on the shelf. Who knows, like I said, maybe one day I'll sell it. I really do want to do a better job. As much as I'm happy with this one, I do think I can do it better and try things out a little different. So we'll see. If they ever announce a Gouf Custom 2.0, maybe I'll just go for that one instead. But anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, we'll see you then. Peace.